this is Sarah Shibata with Intern Presents, a show where I highlight what I've learned and created during my time with Fox 5 DC. The top 3 stories today are stories I pitched and booked for the DMV zone, article highlights since the last presentation, and a social video on Title IX policies. Starting off with Nue, a Vietnamese restaurant. I cold called restaurants and booked a time, date, and topic with Nue in order to highlight a local DMV Asian restaurant. I also wrote the anchor intro and talking points and put them all into iNews. Take a look.
Look at Vietnamese cuisine, and no better way to do it than with one of the most beloved traditions at the table, summer rolls and all this crispy deliciousness, lettuce cups, handmade summer rolls. New restaurant in Falls Church, which, by the way, is on the Washingtonian list of top 100 restaurants across the DMV, showing us how fish here is taking center stage, of course, at Vietnamese cooking and bringing these flavors home. I mean, what is this?
So, Vietnamese culture, in Vietnam, there's 2,000 miles of coastal. So we're surrounded by coastal. But really, I think it's about the resourcefulness of, the Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
We always fish for our food and stuff like that when we were growing up. My dad would take me out on the boat. We'd go fish.
That's so amazing. And then dinner, yeah.
Now moving on to health news. I pitched, booked, and wrote the anchor intro for an American University student who had a breakthrough in long COVID symptom research. This could lead to a potential cure for the disease.
It's been more than 6 years since the pandemic, but science is still struggling to truly understand long COVID. The World Health Organization says almost 47 million people across the globe still struggle with symptoms from long COVID, like fatigue, brain fog, chest pain, and a whole lot more. A student at American University has just uncovered a potential biological link to explain why these symptoms may differ by gender. Sophia Gagliardi is here to share these incredible findings with us. So talk about your research here and how you've been able to connect it to long COVID.
Yeah, so we took a look at the receptor that plays a key role in how COVID-19 is able to infect our cells. And we discovered that there are these peptides in all of our systems called angiotensins that interact with this receptor, and they can either increase infectivity or decrease infectivity of that COVID virus. And one kind of cool thing about it is that each gender is going to have a different variation of amounts in where these are prevalent and how much is prevalent in their systems. And it could be causing higher rates of infection in the lungs of men specifically, and higher rates of infection in the brains of women who are reporting more long COVID cases, and especially when it comes to loss of senses, brain fog, kind of things along those lines.
Interesting.
Finally, warm weather means spotted lanternfly season. I saw reports of sightings in Virginia, and I had to get an expert on to explain what it means for DC this summer.
It's time to get your stomping game back on, because if you've seen the spotted lanternflies, the season is back. There have already been many sightings of this invasive species in Virginia, and it may not be long before the clusters start to appear across the urban environment. We've got Michael Raup with us, the bug guy, to give us hopefully some good news.
They're underway throughout the DMV, and get ready, here they come. So it's another season for the spotted lanternfly, no question about that. Now, I don't know about the stomping shoes. These guys are pretty tiny right now. They're just a few millimeters, so maybe a better tactic is to get out the hose and squirt them off your plant. Well, here's the good news, Marina. Already in our in our northern tier counties, Carroll, Washington, Allegheny, populations are beginning to decline.
Okay.
I was talking to my buddies up in central Pennsylvania at Ground Zero, and they said, what lanternflies? So Mother Nature's starting to put a beat down on these things. There are 20 species of birds that eat them. Chinese mantises eat them. Spiders eat them. So I think there's relief on the way.
Now on to articles. These are some highlights since my last presentation. The first, I did a crime news article on Old Town Laurel car break-ins, which I did with a quick turnaround. And second, Adams Morgan Porch Fest is coming up this weekend, so I did an article about a what to know about that event. And finally, I also did an article that is an explainer about the tax plan debates that are going on between Montgomery County leaners. Last but not least, I am introducing my social video about Title IX policies at American University that continuously get complaints by students. The news peg is a current lawsuit. As first reported by the Eagle, American University student newspaper, there's a current lawsuit that says AU improperly closed the Title IX case. It's filed by Chris Estrada, a former AU student who, unrelated to this, was convicted last year for multiple counts of voyeurism. But now he's suing former Assistant Dean of Undergraduate Education, Brad Knight, for allegedly filming their sexual encounter on campus grounds, and AU for dismissing the Title IX case about it. Estrada also said in the lawsuit that he felt pressured into the sexual activity because of Knight's position as a dean. Knight hasn't responded to calls or email requests for interviews, but he denies the allegations in the complaint. For years, there have been reports by school media of students who say their sexual misconduct claims, whether it's sexual harassment or explicit messages from a professor, have been dismissed by the AU Title IX office. One reason may be because AU doesn't completely ban student-faculty relations unless the faculty has direct authority over the student, while most other DC schools do.
It's a little questionable, like it's very questionable. I don't think that should be allowed.
I'd never heard of that before, but now that I know that, like, that's, even if it's not your professor, someone who's like 40 years older than you and is a professor at your university, especially a dean, they still have so much power over you.
In response to these calls, the AU Title IX office hasn't commented, but their policy does require faculty members to disclose and eliminate a conflict of interest that could undermine the trust in an educational or work environment. What do you think?